I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Josh is so buff. Welcome back, everybody. We are the Murder Moose Podcast, part of the Slash and Cast Podcast Network.
It's in the game.
It's in my ass.
It's in Kim's ass.
Jesus.
Back. And we're actually here, and Josh's computer worked, and holy fuck. I mean, the time change has like bent me over and railed me without lube, so I'm just like...
It didn't bother me because I didn't even think it happened yet.
Yeah.
He's like, it happens tonight. He's like, no, we're there. I accidentally wore Back to the Future socks yesterday, and I was like, wait a second. We're going back to the future, guys.
Dude, it sucks because when I get back to Canada, like because Saskatchewan doesn't do time change. So I was already on an hour behind on Eastern. So to start at 8 a.m. Eastern is to start at 7 a.m. Saskatchewan time. But since the time change, which at the 7 a.m. means I get up at 6, but because of the time change, I have to get up at 5 so that I can go live at 6, which is 8 a.m. Eastern.
Ken is back on Mountain Time.
Everything
Which is
you
the
said,
whole reason I
everything you
shifted
just
from
said
7 a.m. start times to 8 a.m. start times.
Everything you just said would have made me take a day off. I was like, yeah, I'm just not working. I'm just calling in sick on this one.
Yeah, like no, fuck this noise.
Yeah, go back to bed.
So I get up at 5 a.m. to play video games for a living. At 6 a.m.
And the fucked up part about that whole thing is that Ken makes her own schedule.
Yeah, she does. What is up with that?
Making you do this? Your boss is a fucking bitch.
She is. Oh my god! My dad said that the other day. He was like, "I need to talk to your boss." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "She's a bitch. Don't need to. She's an absolute bitch.
Yeah, she's unreasonable.
She's a tyrant. She's unreasonable as hell. She took all of her off days this week and worked so that she can take those other days off to go see family.
Hey, that's good priorities.
You lose me at seeing family.
Yeah.
I saw family yesterday for International Women's Day, so because I'm the only guy in my whole fucking family, so it's a big day because it's all the women.
I got my mom flowers. I found
fucking poor,
the cutest little.
I showed up.
Well, I spent more than I planned on, but I found the cutest little florist right down from us that I didn't even know was there, and a cool kick-ass bar that I didn't know was there. So cool.
When you go outside, this is what happened.
There's things out there.
I know. I know none of us here do that very often, but it is a thing.
Dude, I went on a hike last Thursday, and by the time I get back down with a lady and her dog and me and my dog, and by the time I get down, it was like sleet raining into my eyes, and I was like, I'm so cold, and I froze to death. And
I thought you were getting ready to say, by the time I got down, we were engaged.
No.
That's how long the hike was and shit. We were engaged, and we were talking about how we're going to put our kids through college.
I didn't know you did the Appalachian Trail.
No. Fuck the Appalachian Trail. I've seen enough scary videos about the Appalachian Trail. Fuck that noise. And
that's just the Appalachia in general. It's not even the trail.
The Skinwalker's coming for you.
Listen, if you ever are outside in Appalachia and you hear someone say your name, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
You whistle out there.
No, you didn't. No, I watched
whistle out there.
Yeah, I've gotten to that part of the Instagram trail, the Instagram feed that I get. I haven't been getting them lately, but I've had it where it's just Appalachian Trail horror stories for hours on end because there's people with videos of things knocking on their doors and shit. I know most of them are fake, but fuck that place anyways because fuck that place.
We ended
I still
the whole
find staircases.
My family
I still want to find
has crazy stories, and that's how the night ended last night. Was talking about how my mom's from England and she was haunted as a kid and it followed her to Canada, and we all have these weird fucking crazy stories about any house we were in, weird fucking shit happened to all of us. And it was my nephew little Josh was wait, what the fuck? Like, I didn't know any of this shit. What the fuck is wrong with our family? Like, what the fuck? We're like,
I've been watching way too much Mr. Ballin, as I keep talking about, one of the videos I watched today was him recounting the real like Emily Rose incident that was German in like the late 60s, early 70s, or whatever. I think she died in 76, but like you just go, that which was just, you know, I mean, it was mostly just seizures, right? But everyone else thought she was possessed by demons, and yeah, crazy world.
no, that's
and
just
then you
Kin. Kin is possessed by demons, making that schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pussy demons. That's why she does it all for the pussy.
Shit just got really weird.
And the green pea soup.
Soup is not pea soup. Okay, anyway, sorry. We have a whole conversation about that because I had never had pea soup until I went to Canada, and like now I've had it and I'm like, this isn't green. And Katz is like, well, no, it's pea soup. And I was like, yeah, like pea. And he's like, no, it's chickpea and ham. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
ham.
well, then what the hell is green pea soup?
No, I've had that. That's more of an English thing, I think, because I've had green pea soup, and it's with ham as well. So it's not far off from the chickpea, but I've had the other one as well. Yeah, my grandma used to make it.
There's those big ass yellow cans at Walmart of the chickpea soup.
Oh.
It's like this, and they're cheap, and we get those sometimes.
That's a Canadian thing?
In Canada. Yeah.
Oh.
They're a Canadian company.
Well, buy Canadian.
Buy Canadian.
Buy Canadian.
That's serious.
Buy anything other than us.
Facts.
Like when I go to the grocery store, there's literal like shelves. They've made it more apparent, but like even when this whole thing first started off, there was, I'm like, what? Why is there so many like weird empty spots? And it's like, oh, that's a Canadian product. And then all the American stuff beside is fully stocked. I'm like, this is crazy. Wow. And everyone else is just on TikTok filming. Look.
Wasn't TikTok supposed to go away again?
Not in Canada.
Yeah, it was like a 70 to 90 day pause, like everything else that we do. Big threat. Oh, people don't like it. We'll pull it back. I'm going to put that on pause for a bit. And then I don't want to hear anything else about it after I take it off of this pause. I don't want to hear anything else. Okay, this is the greatest pause that anyone's ever seen.
Yeah.
It never existed. I saved the economy.
Your hands are way too big to do that. Your hands
way
are
too big.
Yeah,
way too big.
They're too big and they're too
way too.
Yeah, but
smart,
I'm in Canada, so that stuff didn't happen
and
here.
You're
just
way
like
less orange. And
no, your room is orange. You're not. You're very white. But we
Canada's
still have Toys R Us here too. So like people are like, wait a second, didn't Toys R Us close? Not in Canada.
Yeah, we did.
We still have it.
Oh, I was trying to be orange. That didn't work.
Yeah,
no, you guys still have Toys R Us, and like, whenever I go through, I think there's one in Regina, but I might be wrong. But my friend here is always like, you need to go to Toys R Us. And I'm like, okay, but like I've been to Toys R Us before. And like, no, it's the only good thing Canada has.
No, we have ketchup chips. Come on.
I tried those.
And all sauced up chips.
Oh yeah,
all dressed up chips.
All dressed are the best.
I tried the ketchup chips. Ordered some not too long ago, and they're fucking tasty.
Yeah. I love a good vinegar.
Yeah, try the all dressed up chips.
The vinegar is all dressed are the best. Like that. If you get the Ruffles all dressed, oof.
Okay.
Perfection.
Yeah, when I landed the first time in Canada, Katz's dad gave me a bag of the dressed up chips and was like, try these. I was like, okay.
So
good. You silly bitches. What have you guys been watching? Anything good?
I watched Conclave.
I don't know what that is.
It's the movie that got like nominated for some Academy Awards and shit.
Oh, that one. The one about the priests.
About the transgender, or I guess not necessarily trans, but Pope that gets elected. It's really fucking good, man. It was a really good movie.
I got to check it out. There's actually, I don't know. Like I watched the Oscars. Conan was the best part of the Oscars. Everything else was like, why are you picking these people to win? Like no one fucking gives a shit about any of these people. You're just like
Substance one.
Substance did win an award, which I'm glad.
Yeah, but I think Demi should have won, but whatever. Who gives a shit?
I haven't seen Anora, so I can't.
I've just heard it's kind of meh.
Yeah,
but
I can't.
Apparently, the Academy had a boner about it. So.
Oh yeah, it won like what 5 awards.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you hear stories about the Academy where those people vote for stuff because they're told to vote for stuff. Like they'll vote for stuff and haven't even seen it.
Dude, the movie 12 Years a Slave. One guy literally said, "I didn't even watch the movie. I just voted for it."
Yeah, this is a social like. Yeah.
I had to. It was about black people. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, just watch the fucking movie at least.
Yeah. It was really good. It was
12 Years a Slave. Yeah, it was great. It was a really, really good movie. Yeah.
I've never seen it. I just one of those movies. I'm like, yeah, I don't. I mean, I know like white people in America suck. I don't need to be reminded, like for it to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just finished that Dexter like prequel show, or like the first season of that, I guess.
Blood.
It was good, man. Like it's so weird how it just works. Like I'm like, this shouldn't work, and it just works. I'm like,
I gave up on Dexter halfway through that season that Colin Hanks was on it, and then never went.
You know, the resurrection thing that they're doing. I think they understand what it is that they have to do now. It's just like people just want the exact same thing that Dexter was doing. It had the like CSI type premise, and then just turn up the gore a bit. And now that gore is more accepted, the gore on this prequel show was like, I'm like, I don't remember anything being like this in your face in any of the other seasons. So like a lot of the gore, I'm like, holy shit, like, okay, like what? This is
I don't think Dexter was ever that gory.
It is now. Really. I'm like, okay, like shit. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I love Dexter as a character. It was like one of those like shows that is super nostalgic for me. So the fact that it's just like it's that, and this kid just looks like, yeah, okay, that's Dexter. Cool. Like he's got it down. So yeah.
I think I'll have to put that on. I've been wanting to watch it. So
yeah.
I want to read the Dexter books.
They're good. I've read 3 of them. Darkly Dreaming Dexter, I think, is the first one.
Yeah, they correlate well.
And there's
like
Dexter,
for a while,
Dexter by Design and Dexter in the Dark and stuff like that.
Isn't like a big thing like his? And I don't know this. Doesn't his like sister die real early in the books, and then they just kept her around on the show because everybody loved her and whatnot? I don't know. Some of those things, I'm not sure. I haven't read those.
Read the books, man.
Yeah. Maybe.
Not Rod spoiling the books after just saying, hey, I really want to read the books.
Shut up, Ken.
That sounds like a Rod thing to do.
I know. I just ruin everything. I ruin everything for everyone, Josh.
No, you don't.
I ruin everything for everyone, Josh.
No, I think you're becoming more aware of it because we keep poking you.
A little bit.
Maybe. I don't. It's like I said. It's one of those things that I just don't. You hear things, and then it's not like I've experienced them, so I don't know.
Yeah. No, the thing with you, it's funny because I'll be like, "Oh no, just don't," and you're like, "Oh no, I won't," and then you verbal diarrhea out like it. To you, it could not be a spoiler, and it's just like a random little thing, but it's like I didn't want to know that either, man. Fuck.
I got yelled at for that the other day in Katie's chat because I said something about Alan Wake, like the one Ashmore brother being in Alan Wake 2, and she's like, "That's spoiler." I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know."
You'll get it one day. You'll get it one day. We make fun because this is a safe place, and we love the shit out of you.
I just some things I don't like. Most things I don't consider spoilers, and then so I don't know. But it's just me.
Anything is a spoiler. Like,
yeah, I guess
with Kin, I came into her chat and was like, "Hey, Kin, have you watched Trick or Treat yet?" And she's like, "Oh no, I haven't watched it yet." So what I did was I said nothing else after that.
It's funny how easy it is, really. It's really simple.
Because I just finished it and I wanted to be like, "Oh,
at
wow!"
Most, at most,
I'm gonna go nap.
What
again.
you could have
See you
said
guys. See you guys. Back to napping.
Okay. It is okay to respond as long as that response is something like okay.
I'm going back to napping. Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Napping. Back to napping.
Ken
Screw you
remembers that.
guys.
Hey, Josh, have you watched it? No. And then I just.
He throws a smoke bomb down and it's just gone.
That's what I do anytime you see me in your chat, anyway. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Hey, he's here. Oh, he's gone. You still here? No, he's gone.
Josh like leaves one message in chat and then disappears.
So what? I'm there. It's still on.
I know. I'm not saying.
the
I'm not
TV.
complaining about it, Josh.
But
it was
As soon as they
commenting
got
about
rid of the fact that I can't chat through my fucking remote now, I don't chat at all because I'm only ever watching it on my TV. Why do you want me to go on my phone? That's such a stupid thing. They got rid of I used to be able to just chat on my TV app into the app and it would censor it. So it was hilarious because I would just swear and all of a sudden you see like stars and
Yeah, I
shit. And
remember.
everyone's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
he's talking through his remote again. This is awesome. And they just got rid of it one day. And like now I don't chat anymore because of that. It's so dumb. I wish they'd bring it back.
Yeah. Well, do you guys want to dive into trick or treat?
Yeah. Or.
Not
Yeah. Trick. This
Not
isn't Captain
apostrophe R.
Crunch. This is Captain Crunch today.
Ken, do you have a synopsis? Because I don't have the thing up.
I do. Wait, there it is. A bullied teenage boy is devastated after the death of his heavy metal idol, Sammi Curr. But as Halloween night approaches, he discovers that he may be the only one who can stop Sammi from making a satanic comeback from beyond the grave.
As
By the
Electro.
way, I thought calling this movie a comedy was a stretch on a level that was hard to acknowledge before. Because it's called a comedy horror, and I'm like, "Where's the comedy in it?" Because
Where's the horror? It's just a
I
comedy.
laugh pretty regularly in this movie, but that's strange shit. So
it is because it's bad. Because everything in it's hokey as shit, and
yeah,
just
that's
like
probably why. The level of camp
I'm watching
in this
this. I'm
movie
like,
is
I'm like,
chef's kiss.
I'm like, this main character is like. He's like 10 years later would have
Toxic
been
Avenger.
a Columbine shooter. Like this kid is just like looks like I'm just like, oh my god. And then like the main villain is just like all char face, and then the hot chick loves him for some reason because even though
Because
he's
this is
creepy.
literally Toxic Avenger without the toxic sauce. That's it. Like the whole story is the exact same. He's getting bullied, and well, not this exact same. Like obviously, but like that whole 80s tropey thing of like the bullies and
I don't know. I still don't quite understand the trick or treat name, although it's on Halloween, like about to be on Halloween. But like the name
movie, the movie is actually called Ragman most everywhere else.
That's the trick or treat is the dumbest name in the world. Like Ragman kind of makes sense, right?
Well,
like
yeah, it's because it's what he called. That's what his nickname was.
Yeah, but like I'm like, why is this called trick or treat? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, and then it
also called Death at 33 RPMs in other foreign markets, which is actually kind of a cool title if you really think about it.
Why shouldn't they have like what was the name of the record, the single? That would have been a better name. Like
I can't remember the name of
I had
the album.
Death
Songs in the Key of Death.
Yeah, I think that would have been a better name than like Trick or Treat. It's like there are two pumpkins at the beginning, like out front of his house or whatever. Man,
the song in the Key of Death is a parody of the titles of Stevie Wonder's song album Songs in the Key of Life. That's what I was trying to find.
My other favorite thing in this movie was them trying, like, I wanted to know how many times Ozzy read all of his lines because he mumbled through every line he had anyways. And I'm like, I wonder how many takes they did with every one of these because Ozzy looked so fucking confused, had no context and clue where the fuck he was. And
where
he's
was
talking
everyone's
about God.
hair?
What?
No one had their hair yet. I was like, man, this is
Yeah,
pre-hair.
That's why I had a hard time figuring out people because I was like,
the only one with hair
where is the hair?
Electro.
I knew Gene Simmons, like when Gene Simmons' jawline popped up on screen, I'm like, oh, that's Gene Simmons. And then it was Gene Simmons because Gene Simmons did that man did a lot of movies in the 80s. Like he was the villain in a lot of films, and they were all usually really bad, but like
they're pretty campy. Like he was in the movie with Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck, yeah, where he was making the robots get people and had the gun that like controlled the bullets kind of thing in it and whatnot. But yeah, that movie.
I wish there
wild.
was more of the like goblin-y thing that like melted that girl's ears and stuff and was like getting her off and then all of a sudden melted her brain. Like what?
Was that the I missed like a bit of it, I'll be honest. And then I was going back through right before we joined in to see what I had missed. But like, is that the only time that goblin thing is in, or was it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it like makes it onto a bunch of the posters, and I'm like, but it was only like pretty much eating her pussy. I don't know, like what the hell was going on there?
She came to death. I mean, she came so hard her ears melted.
Pretty good
How
metal.
Did you die?
That is metal.
I have a new goal in life now, by the way.
I did. I mean, death by snoo snoo is the ultimate death that any of us could ever like want, right? Is death by snoo snoo.
So, I mean, by the way, that Tom Selleck movie was called Runaway.
Yep.
And he actually did that 2 years before he even did this.
He was in a movie where he was like a transvestite, like hermaphrodite, and where he was trying to kill Uncle Jesse from Full House, who was a James Bond type character. But
that was
his
called
dad
Never Too Young to Die.
Yeah, there you go. How do you know all these names of these movies? Are you just looking through Gene Simmons? IMDb. That's what it is, right? As you can see it. No. Fuck you, Brian.
Yeah, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you how I know that.
No,
so one of those things that you guessed is right.
yeah, I figured as much. This movie, man, it was like they had this idea where they wanted to have metal be like, because metal is like such a kind of like when the 90s moved into violent video games, like the panic about everything and the satanic panic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I lived through that shit. I mean, I know most of you children didn't, but
I was gonna say, did you were you old enough to remember anything from it?
Yeah, I totally remember all that shit. And the vast majority of my friends were getting their records and cassettes taken by their parents and thrown away. It was an interesting time. Luckily, my mom and dad weren't involved enough in my life to give a fuck. So they didn't really care, you know. Yeah. But yeah, I had a lot of friends that lost a lot of their music and shit. And yeah, this was and that's why the story at the core of this movie is basically it's pretty relevant for the time, especially in 1986. I was right in the middle of the satanic panic, all that shit. Yeah. So
yeah, right when it started, I was like, this screams 80s in the best way.
Oh yeah, this movie's aggressively 1986.
Yeah.
I think like the closest that we as like my generation had to the satanic panic at the time was Harry Potter, because Harry Potter books came out.
Yeah.
All of our religious friends were getting their books taken. Yep. Churches were like, do not speak about it. We had people over for Thanksgiving one year, and my mom was like, these people are very religious. Do not talk about Harry Potter. And I was like, okay. As soon as we sat down for dinner, have you guys read Harry Potter?
Dude, yes. I have a question, and maybe Ken, you found this. This movie felt PG-13 for an incredible amount of time, and then swearing started. And the violence in this movie was all PG-13-esque. Like this movie,
boobies.
What? I mean,
boobies.
Yeah, the boobies in that scene. But like that's what I'm saying. The second half of that movie they started swearing more, and then the boobies popped up. It seemed like they made this movie rated R after they had shot it. Like they were like, oh no, this has to be R-rated, so more people will go see it. Unlike the opposite of things like Megan today, where they shot it R-rated and then toned it down to PG-13. It was like this was PG-13, and then they toned it up. I don't know about that,
man. I don't think you watched the same movie I did, because within the first 10 minutes of the movie, they do strip him booty ass naked and kick him out, and then his ass is shown.
Dude, that was a PG type of activity in 80s movies, dude. I don't know. I mean, you remember the 80s, bullying kids was completely acceptable in movies, and like
but showing a man's bare ass was not.
That's not a big deal. Dude, you could
Yeah, it was.
you could show a man ass on
It was a big
Twitch.
deal.
And be
It was a
fine.
big deal all the way through the 90s because they didn't even show the first male ass on television until NYPD Blue, and that was in the 90s.
And that was
Why
the
can't
fat
they-
little bald dude, wasn't it?
Yeah. The fat little bald dude.
It was a fat little bald dude,
Dennis Speranza?
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
I was gonna say this movie was fun, but it was not good. And the main character, the first half of the movie.
Ooh, you suck.
I know. The main character,
I almost hate you now.
The main character first half of the movie is like the most annoying person in the world. You're just like, why are you doing all the stupid shit you're doing? And then like
the main character in the movie reminds me so much of you.
I mean, they explain my self-hatred.
the boy, first of all, he is like, in my opinion, a great actor for this role because he looks like a high schooler.
Yeah.
He sounds like a high schooler. Whereas all the other guys who like spent the whole movie with their shirts off or open to show off their abs
super sexy
did not look like a high school group of boys. He felt like a high school boy.
His friend did too.
They felt like his friend still looked a little bit older, but they felt teenagers.
He was actually Marc Price was actually 18. So
that makes sense. Because he sounded.
But he wasn't Electro, so
he wasn't Electro.
Hey, this movie is like if Freddy Krueger fucked Shocker, and then like played heavy metal.
Yeah, there's definitely some. You could easily find the inspiration, the nightmare influence in this movie for sure.
There was the people that worked on the Creature. They also worked on Nightmare and some other stuff. I saw it a little while ago.
I was trying to think about
I love this movie. I know it's not. We're not.
I wanted to ask, like, the main question I wanted to ask, because this is a Brian pick. Like, it reminds me of the story that I think I said on the show where a guy from the scene that I hadn't talked to in like 10 years, like the hardcore scene in Calgary. He was always at all my shows, and he's like, "Oh, dude, I know you were a big fan of Death by Stereo, and they were here last night, and I didn't see them, and I feel bad about that." But he's like, "I hadn't ever heard them, but I just gave them a listen, and man, do they fucking suck." And I like that was his message to me after like not talking to me for like over 10 years, and I'm like, "Wow, it's so funny." But like for me, it's like I came up where there was like a transition happening of pop punk into the like more hardcore scene that happened, and Death by Stereo was that transition band for me, and like listening to them now is like super nostalgic for me, and I will defend them. I have a Death by Stereo tattoo, that type of stuff. So like for me, I want to know like how nostalgic and when did you first see this movie, because like for all of us, we're seeing it for the first time through a 2025 lens. And like, obviously, we're not going to have that same love.
You had never seen this movie before?
Yeah,
no, I had not ever seen it.
So I am the only one that had seen it. I genuinely thought at least you had seen this, Josh.
No, I haven't. I'm a huge fan of
I love the fact that I accidentally picked a movie that literally none of you have seen.
It's awesome, though.
Ken hadn't seen it. And then I figured she wouldn't be here. But okay, so yes, there's definitely a nostalgia love for this movie for me, and that's probably why I hold it in such high regard. I know it's not fucking Shawshank Redemption, okay? I'm not an idiot. But it's not far from it.
Dude, that's like me saying to anyone, you have to watch Hackers. It's my favorite movie of all time. And like they'll be like, what the fuck? Why do you love this so much? It's Hack the Planet! Like
when I was a kid, I would go to the video store with my mom pretty regularly, obviously. I was real young. And the number of times that I got shot down trying to rent this movie by my parents made it an Excalibur level quest for me to try to finally watch this movie. And finally, I went to the video store one time with my 16-year-old sister, and she was 17 and I was 11. And she rented it for me, and that's how I finally got to watch it. So I got to watch it late. My mom and dad were already in bed, but it was like a Friday or Saturday night, and my mom and dad didn't give a shit what time I fucking went to bed at that age. And I watched it and fell in love with it. Obviously I'm a metal guy, the music was fucking amazing, and the soundtrack for this is fucking killer in my opinion.
Yeah.
It may not necessarily be your guys' cup of tea because it's certainly
I
old
loved it.
school metal, but it was a super group called Fastway that did all the music for it. I actually have the soundtrack on vinyl, and if you play it backwards, you hear messages.
Awesome.
So it's very fun. It's very fun. They actually did it's a new. I got it like last year, the year before. They did a reissue of the soundtrack, and if you do listen to it backwards on certain songs, you hear messages. It's fun.
I mean,
but
if they cut out the boobs of that one scene, this movie could be PG, like for nowadays standards.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
They say the problem with it is that you would have to cut a couple of fucks. That's why I was like, the first like half an hour ish. I mean, besides the butt, there wasn't really any swearing.
Nah, there really wasn't.
Yeah. Well, dude, I was looking up because I wanted to know if I knew Tony Fields from anything. The guy who played Sammi
He was
Curr.
a dancer.
He died in 1995 from cancer he got from HIV, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, dude! And like,
it's too bad because he was fun in this movie. Because it was certainly they certainly infused a pretty good level of camp in this film.
Oh yeah.
The movie was actually directed by Charles Martin Smith, and if you've ever seen American Graffiti, any guys?
I haven't, but I know of it. Yeah.
American Graffiti. It's a George Lucas film. It's actually probably one of his best.
Yeah, it's his first movie, isn't it? I think it's his first.
One of them for sure.
Yeah.
I think he was nominated for Best Picture Oscar. But he plays in it. He was an actor. But he directed this film.
I didn't know I could do that.
Flipping back and forth and shit. But yeah, it's Tony Fields was fantastic as Sammi Curr, man. Like, dude, he was a lot of fun. You can tell.
I think the best scene.
Dancing really took control when the concert happens in the middle of the fucking movie.
Dude, that's the best scene in the movie.
By far, one of the best concerts ever to fucking happen on film. The Lost Boys, they didn't got shit on this fucking shit.
I don't know. There was way less
saxophone.
There's no oiled up saxophone guy.
Yeah, needs way more saxophone to beat Lost Boys. If he had more
oil on his body, it would.
Dude, but my favorite part is he starts electrocuting people, and he looks like the Emperor from fucking like Return of the Jedi.
Awesome,
and then they would like one person would get electrocuted and disappear, and they'd be like, okay, I'm gonna fill in the spot.
Yeah,
and it took him like,
oh sweet, where'd he go?
He kill, like,
awesome, now I can see better.
4 people before people realized that this shouldn't be happening. And it was
wait a second.
I mean, when my friend passed out at the concert that we were at, like people and I like carried her out, people immediately filled in that space.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Thanks for moving.
Yeah.
Lightweight.
I just think that like
my favorite scene is when he pulls the lady out of the TV and she's like the fucking pile.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And then he starts vacuum cleaning up her ass.
Oh the vacuum was the best part. I was like, oh, the next scene he's like, oh fuck, I got to get rid of this. Mom's gonna kill me.
Like aggressively. And you question, was this a comedy? Yes, it's fucking comedy. That shit was hilarious.
No, okay, let me rephrase that. Not intentionally a comedy. This was like this movie is like takes itself so seriously, and it's just like
I think he did that shit on purpose. I think he was like, next scene we gotta see him vacuuming this old lady up. So good. Oh my god.
That's why I was asking though, like why this movie felt like a PG movie for most of the movie, and then they like throw in extra violence and gore.
It's definitely
there was no gore. There was just people disappearing. Like even when it would be like boots, and then just like steam coming out of the boots, and they wouldn't even show like there was not a single lick of blood. There was just some boobs and some F-bombs, and that's what gave it like an R rating, I would assume.
All the toilet, like trying to make dad jokes after that he like got stuck in the toilet. I'm like, oh my God, these are so like, I bet Ken was loving. They're like making toilet jokes after the ghost got stuck in the toilet. And I'm just like, also, this is what's weird to me. Like, how did they set up? He sets up Gene Simmons to play his record at midnight. Like he knew he was going to be dead, even though he died in a random hotel fire, like the day before all this shit happened. And I'm just like, how did they know what the fuck? Like how this?
Apparently, there's some deleted scenes he died in he died in a hotel
Josh.
fire, but it was a ritual. It was like
Okay.
he was supposed to die. He was sacrificing himself. There's some stuff that they did cut out that would have probably provided a little
Context.
much needed context and exposition and shit. But yeah.
But yeah, because you don't do that, and I don't know. I didn't watch this with subtitles. Anytime that record was playing, I didn't understand anything coming off of that record.
I didn't watch it with subtitles either, and that was a mistake.
What did you do to your stereo? I wanted a new one.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You're not. Cool.
His mom like has the expression on her face every scene she's in the movie where she's like, when is his life just going to be over with? Like, she just looks like she
kind of looks put upon.
Yeah. She's just like,
what do you think of her date, though?
Well, I mean, she gets the little short king dude to go out with her, dress up like Rambo with like, and it's just like, and I'm just like, this, I give her credit for, she's like, I'm just going to bang this short dude because I know he's going to give it to me.
She calls him a hunk.
Yeah, I know.
What a hunk. Oh my God.
The 80s, man. Yeah, like
the
lead kid with that haircut landing the girl he does. I'm like, what is the 80s, man? Like,
I don't understand that. Like, it was so the 80s. It was like she felt bad like for him, like he was like a lost puppy or something like that. And it's like and then she's still friends with all the people that just tried to drown this motherfucker. They drop a weight in his backpack and then throw him in the pool and then just laugh as he drowns.
They literally try to murder the guy. Yeah. Like, there's a little difference between bullying and attempted murder.
There was a lot of attempted murder in this.
A lot of attempted murder. Doug Savant, man, before place. Yeah.
The 37-year-old blonde guy that kept chasing him everywhere. I'm like, this dude has a mortgage. Why is he in high school? This dude has a mortgage. He's a
personal trainer down at some place. He owns his own place.
You know, 100%. He was older. He was 22 at the time, but he looks 30.
Yeah, he looks way older than ever. Like Kim pointed out, in that locker room scene where there is like a gay porno set up. There's like 7 guys just all like laying around.
Like Avenger.
Yeah, like on top of all the lockers, just like laying like naked.
The camera's going, dude. I want to know the cinematography in this movie. That is
how locker rooms are, by the way. All locker rooms are exactly like that, Ken. Just so you know.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Josh, I want to know. I want to know what you thought about the cinematography of this movie, because holy shit, there were some choices in this movie where I'm like, why are you? They like when he's in the car and they're just showing
coverage.
Like
it was just
like the steering wheel or whatever the fuck they were doing. I'm like, it's like we have one shot, guys, and it's like we're gonna stare at a random part of the car that I don't.
Yeah, but to be honest, like then after this, I watched this. Then I went and watched Bourne Supremacy, which is just like the entire
I
fucking
hate
time.
PG-13 action cuts. I hate that shit.
So
man.
I'm like, to be honest, I don't know. Like,
but they did that more than once in this movie. They just like focused on weird scenery during scenes. I'm like, why are you focusing on this part of the scene?
It could have been like no, it's not the transfer, because that would be from like, because this is the widescreen version, so that would be more of the picture. So actually, no, the widescreen is less of the picture, isn't it?
No, because they take the widescreen and they cut the sides off for the full screen. Yeah.
No, because sometimes, like if it was filmed, I don't know.
He got better though. The cinematographer got better, and he shot like Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, and Nightcrawler and stuff.
I mean, it was just, most of it wasn't that bad. It was just a couple shots. I'm like, why the fuck are you just like staring at his radio? Like the one in the car was the one that like stands out to me. But I'm like,
I just love what's his name, the main bad guy that comes back. His overacting was like turned up to 11, and it was phenomenal. Like that's the like cheese core that I want to see in a movie like this. Just like over.
They didn't give him enough screen time though. Like besides the concert, like he just mostly popped out and had electricity come out of his wiener.
Yeah,
and like Yeah. I don't know.
He's
Brian.
electric.
Yes,
So
sir.
your sister finally got you to see this. How old were you when you finally got to
I
see
was about
this?
11. I'm pretty sure I was about 11 years old, or almost 11, turning 11. And yeah, I've been in love with it ever since. I fucking love this movie. The what like I said, what always made me wanna watch it was the VHS artwork, which is different than the movie poster, than the theatrical movie poster. A little bit.
Yeah.
That was brain dead for me, like, or dead alive, I guess. Like, it depends on, like,
Yeah.
just
yeah.
seeing that in Blockbuster all the time. And then there was one where I think my wife is dead or something, where he's like holding the candelabra through like the circle hole of his wife. Those two movies growing up, like, I would always go like gravitate towards those two movies when I was a kid and look at the back every time and like, oh, I can't wait, I gotta see this. Like,
Dude, I always loved Critters box. Like, and I didn't see Critters until a couple years ago, and because I love Gremlins so much, and no one would ever actually rent me Critters. And then like, I'm like, this movie's terrible. Critters is a bad movie. Like,
Critters
it
is pretty bad, but it sure is fun.
But it was the box art of the little monster with the teeth, man. I was like, this is pretty cool. So it's like, I don't know. Or the Carnosaur movie, with the fucking
Carnosaur.
Yeah, with the T-Rex on the cover. So this movie is so this movie I just imagine like every scene they would like cut and then they're all doing lines. Like Sammi Curr's coke nail, which is like 6 inches long the whole movie, even when he's coming back, he's like when he's in the back seat of the cop car and he's like trying to put his hand through, and the giant coke nails just sitting there trying to get him, and I'm like, the 80s.
Yeah,
the 80s.
The 80s, I know.
Yeah, but there's coke nails even in Star Wars.
Well, I know, because that was Carrie Fisher, and as we know, coke was her thing until the day she died. Man, that woman never gave up on the drugs. So, it was everyone.
You got a good thing going, man.
I mean, I would think that living was a better thing than doing drugs on a repeated basis, but
I concur.
As I say that in as 2025 happens, but yeah.
Well, so I want to know, what did you guys like? What did you think? Like, Rod, what did you think of the movie?
I thought it was terrible but fun.
Okay, so
okay, this is the thing, man. I never liked hair metal. I never liked 80s metal at all. Like, and so it's like the music was just like okay at times, but I've never been like, I don't like old.
It's so funny, like that type of stuff would be like jock rock nowadays. And all the jocks were like, fuck you and your music back then. Right? But now it would be total jock rock now, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Now it's like Godsmack. It's like we call it like
butt rock.
Butt rock, yeah.
Butt rock, yeah.
Butt rock.
Kid rock.
What do you think of this movie?
I actually enjoyed it. The first time through I watched it, I fell asleep, but that was because I was drunk. The second time, I really enjoyed it. I wish that I would have had subtitles on. And if you decide to watch this, have subtitles on and watch it in the dark, because it is such a dark movie.
Yeah.
A lot of the sound, was a little like, I don't know if it was just a bad dub or something potentially that I had on Plex there, but it was like
there's
a little
not a
hollow
lot of
sounding
good copies of this, because the rights entered a really, really weird thing. For a long time, the rights were literally just owned by like a fucking dude. Like the US rights, like the distribution rights were just literally owned like by a fucking dude. But they did recently, just this last year, release it on 4K and they cleaned it up. So it could be possible now to find
worth it
4K cut of Trick or Treat.
Yeah, if they cleaned up the audio, it would make it like, especially because a lot of that record stuff is like, if you're sitting there not understanding what the backwards record's saying, I'm just like, you're just like the kid, he plays backward record.
What the fuck? I'm not doing that. What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
And then you like, I was so confused after the scene where he threw the lunch into the 37-year-old's face, and then
same.
Ran through, and he's like,
37.
the record gave me the perfect plan to do it. I'm like, the record
run away and disappear somehow. I'm like, what? How did that happen? What did you
put a chair in this specific spot in the hallway? And then what? huh? But yeah, I think that's like my biggest issue. It very much felt like this is what it felt like to me. They're like, okay, Satanic Panic, everything's metals. We have to have a metal movie, a horror movie where the rock star dies, gets revved up from hell by playing a record backwards. And they were like, that's the best idea ever. And they're like, what about everything else? Oh, we'll worry about that later. Let's start shooting now. Yes.
These metalheads are going to be in it. We got to shoot now.
Is there an explanation? Because you were talking about it, like the name being different in other places, why it's named Trick or Treat in America?
I don't know. That is a good question, because there really isn't a lot of explanation as to why it was called Trick or Treat in America. There's not a whole lot of production. Ironically, you would think that I actually would know a little more about this, because considering I do actually own 2 completely separate Blu-ray copies of it. I have one that was that I bought that is the American version of the film and the American packaging. And when I got it, I was super concerned because, like I said, I bought it and it was just like the rights were just owned by like a dude. And when I got it, it looked like somebody had printed everything off on a HP inkjet printer and folded it up. I was like, oh my God.
Airborne was a movie for me.
It was immaculate. Like it played perfectly. The picture was crisp. It had all these special features. It had like the whole soundtrack was on it. You could listen to the whole soundtrack. And then I ordered a German copy that was region free, and it was the Ragman version. So kicked it on and it said Ragman at the beginning of the movie, which is what Josh has on the Plex. When you click play, the title comes up as Ragman and not Trick or Treat. And then that had like a behind the scenes featurette on the making of the movie and everything.
Is there a deleted scene somewhere that explains the name Ragman? Like it seems like a name that like would be a villain in a horror movie, not like a main character. That sounds like a killer's name. You know what I mean?
Does. I know. No, I don't know. Like I said, there's just not a lot as far as like production notes and things like that on this movie. Even that behind the scenes making of thing didn't really talk about a whole lot. It mainly focused on talking about the fact that Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons were in the movie. That was a big deal back then, because they actually offered Sammi Curr the role of Sammi Curr to Gene Simmons, but he turned it down because he actually, when he read the script, he was just like, I'll do a cameo for the movie, but I'm not playing in it that much. So he just
they got him for one scene, and they did that one scene, and then the next time he came back, he'd been shocked, disappeared. He had like
a pile of dust.
He was like Obi-Wan Kenobi at the end of A New Hope.
Same with Ozzy, dude. It's like, we'll do a little cameo, but
I want to know how many.
Lawless of Wasp was actually originally set to play Sammi Curr in the movie. And so that is kind of neat too. And then Ozzy played the televangelist.
Dude, I want to know how many times he needed to shoot that scene, because I was like,
this was 86. He was probably still relatively more coherent than 40 years. This is what will fuck you up.
Yeah,
but only 10 years is not so. Only 10 years.
I mean, dude, at this point, he'd been in Black Sabbath for 20 years almost, right?
Like that.
Yeah, I mean, because there wasn't Black Sabbath's first album out in like 68 or 69.
Late 60s, early 70s. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. So like, I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm like,
at the time of this movie, Ozzy Osbourne was 38 years old. He was 38. So.
Yeah, he seemed as incoherent as the Ozzy of modern days, and that's why that's
not true.
he didn't have enough hair. None of them had enough hair to be in this movie.
How it sounds now.
I
know people are really excited to go to that last Black Sabbath concert, Ozzy's last concert, but
I went to the last Black Sabbath tour last time. I'm tired of last tour bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop it. Stop it.
Sharon's gonna bleed as much money out of that man as she can before he bucks the kick it. So
I mean, he bugs the kick it.
Bucks the kick it.
Kicks the bucket. Bucks the kick it.
I knew that. I'd never heard it referred to that way. Yeah.
Where he bucks the kick it.
I don't know, man. I thought this movie was goofy. I just like that Marc Price kid seemed like he wasn't very experienced either. I mean, he was 18,
no one
like
did.
you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one was. Yeah, and not a lot of
like
people
the whole thing.
time,
every single person. It's like, hey, we're just gonna get together.
Yeah, this was many years before Doug Savant would become pretty popular on Melrose Place.
Savant?
Doug Savant.
Before he would become a savant.
Before he would become a savant, yes.
Yeah.
Lisa Orgolini didn't do much after this, and neither did the girl that showed her titties. She played in Ballet Girls, not Valley Girls, Valet Girls, and I think that's pretty much it. Marc Price went on to play in Family Ties, though. He was Michael J. Fox's best friend. He was Skippy.
Well, the only thing that happened good from that is Back to the Future. Who cares? I watched Family Ties when I was a kid too, though. So.
Oh, did you?
What? Yeah.
Who's Boner? Boner was on the other. What show was Boner?
Pains.
Growing Pains. Okay, yeah. With Kirk Cameron. Fuck Kirk Cameron until the end of time.
Cameron.
Yeah,
Kurt
for real.
Cameron.
Fuck that
Cameron.
guy.
He's a fucking psycho.
Him and all the religious whack jobs, man. It's
I'm
just
sorry,
like
I just can't believe people buy into that shit.
No, me either, man.
Man, I mean, I saw a meme. Lies gone horribly awry. Like name a lie that went horribly awry, and it's like Mary, the Virgin Mary. I swear I'm a virgin.
Well, the best part about that is if you look into it, and we talked about Heretic, and there was like we remember when you did Heretic, and like how many times that whole recycled thing had been, you know, that whole story had been recycled by that point. And I'm like, so I wonder if that, like, I really do wonder if they added that in, like, it was in like that she didn't run around saying that, but like they're like, oh yeah, like because the Bible was written like 100 years after all that shit, like they started writing it all, right? I'm just like, I wonder if that was real or they added it because of the other mythos. I don't know, fucking crazy Christianity, crazy Christianity.
A man wrote that book.
Not one man, many men.
Many men. Lots of bands.
Yeah. Men's.
This movie was fun though. I mean, it's not like the script is terrible. The acting is pretty terrible, but like it's got charm to it. Like that's like I think why Brian digs it. But like,
just grab a fork and put it in the socket and save yourself.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Let's fucking go.
And orgasm to death.
My
and have
favorite,
your ears melt.
like, there's so many things about this movie that I think are really, really fun and silly. Like you take any element of the movie, obviously, like you look at Sammi Curr, Tony Fields is just having a good time, you know, playing a really cheesy fucking rip off of Freddy Krueger and you know and shit.
And that makeup did not stay consistent whatsoever.
No, not at all. It's fantastic. But
it's like, whoa, it's like super gnarly, and all of a sudden it's like almost not there. Like, what just happened?
But they didn't let him act.
Concert in the middle of this shit.
Yeah, I mean that was the best part. By far the best scene in the movie. But like, and then like every other scene is just him going like electrocuting people. Like it's
electro.
I do want to give a quick shout out to his best friend in this movie, who is like right up there as being one of your like the best friend you could possibly have. Even though he does fuck up by playing the tape.
Best friend, that moron tells him he destroyed it, and then every single person that dies in this movie is because of him. That moron
comes back, but he bounces back though, man. You know, he bounces back and he risks his life to fucking try and kill Sammy, and he also didn't need to fucking go break into fucking that 40-year-old fucking senior's fucking car. To steal.
Man, those cars are possessed really quickly by that music.
Very quickly. Very quickly.
I think they just played that scene in reverse. If we're being honest, the car going
Oh,
away,
yeah.
they just like had it drive.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Oh no, I mean, Brian, I know I had first heard. I think I first heard about this movie from your old podcast when you guys talked about it, and I'm like, I don't know, this movie sounds kind of crazy, and
it is crazy, but in all the good ways.
Yeah. Oh no, completely not all.
Because this movie does do the one thing that you and I both agree is like an unacceptable thing.
It's not boring.
It's not a boring movie.
Yeah.
Thank God. You know, it's not a fucking.
You
boring.
might be going. You might be sitting there going,
What the fuck am I looking at?
What the why? What the why? But then like, but it's always like shit's happening, and you're just like, like I said, it felt like they went in and they're like, okay, we want a dead rock star to come back from the dead by playing a record backwards. Go. And then they started shooting the movie. And then they were like 3/4 of the way through, or they even finished it, and they're like, shit, this isn't even R-rated. Okay, we need you to go back in and put like 17 fucks in it. Yeah. And we need a woman to orgasm to death and have her ears melt. Okay, go. Go. And it's just like, also, dude, that man went to pee out of the car while he's got the hot chick in the back seat with him. And then he's gone long enough for her to come and listen to that entire cassette. I'm like, what? Like, how long? Dude, were you just shitting in the woods and too embarrassed to say, it's okay, you can tell people you poop? Everybody poops. Everybody
poop.
Everybody poops. Ugh. Okay, fuckers. What?
Josh,
I mean,
what did you think of the movie? You didn't even say.
It was all right.
What do you guys?
I'm wearing a hat.
This again?
Call back to last episode. Call back to last episode.
We can see it, Josh. You can see it. What do you guys want to watch next week, you fuckers?
What's Satan's Little Helper? What is that?
Listen, okay, I watched a bit of the trailer on stream today. It looks
is that 2004?
Yeah, it looks like a complete menace, like just absolute garbage, but also fantastic. So
let's do it.
A bunch of people recommended
DVD.
it. Somebody said that it was one of the ones they watched during their 31 days of Halloween. I had never heard of it, but the trailer is phenomenal. So
this movie has an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's fucking go.
There isn't even an HD rip of it. It's only DVD rip. Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
I mean, you're lucky it's not a VHS rip, because with that description, I'm good. Well, I'm going into this movie knowing nothing besides it's called Satan's Little Helper.
We can watch that.
Good, because then
we haven't
spoil
talked
it
about
for
Hard
us.
Eyes yet.
Oh yeah, we could do Hard Eyes at some point.
yeah, because it's on Plex now, right?
Yeah.
I will be seeing Opus when it comes out. It comes out on like the 14th, so I'm going to see it the Saturday that I get back.
Nice.
I'm just throwing that out there that I am so looking forward to that. Oh my God, my cat is stretching in my lap and is about to fall.
I mean, then does that come out? I don't know if you're the only one I've heard talking about that movie, Ken.
Oh, I'm obsessed with the idea of it, but it's a cult-based movie, so that's probably why.
I mean, let me see if it's even playing at Alamo, because I'm confused.
It's got Ayo in it.
Oh yeah,
she's awesome.
I mean,
it's got Julia
I can go.
Lewis.
I wonder. Yeah, it's not even playing at my theater. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let's just do Santa's Little Helper, and then if we change, we'll change. Whatever. Just okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Satan.
Cool. Okay. Josh, pimp all your stuff.
Josh WRB.
.com.
Oh yeah, that was
.co.
Brian.
No, it's .com. For
Oh, it
Josh
is .com.
WRB.
Find
Well,
me here.
WRBdesign.co is the other.
There you go. You can find me here. You can find me on the We're Gonna Make You Watch podcast on YouTube. We haven't done a new episode yet because we just haven't had the time. But
Nice.
eventually we're gonna make him watch Candyman. That's the
Nice.
next episode. We're gonna
When's
try
your
and-
other movie podcast starting?
Yeah, honestly, we could be doing it right now, but he's been really, really busy, and I'm letting him borrow my my laptop because he doesn't have a very good PC, so I'm just gonna let him borrow my gaming laptop, and I just haven't been able to get it to him because he's been super busy.
Okay.
But we've got the first few movies picked and what that we're going to be talking about. We're going to kick it off by talking about Cobra.
I was gonna say it has to be Cobra because you're obsessed.
I'm gonna pick that one of these days. I'm gonna make you motherfuckers watch Cobra because it's a movie
We're
about
a horror
serial
movie.
killer.
I mean, it's because
it's
there's
it's a movie about a serial killer, literally called the Night Slasher. All right, we're fucking watching it.
It's very close to the Night Stalker.
Yes,
and then we can watch Terminator because Terminator is a slasher.
Terminator's a horror movie.
Yeah, Ken, all your stuff. Where are you? What are you playing?
Twitch.tv/continue. It's KINTINUE. I'm currently playing through Subnautica and getting through the story. And it's going really good. It's going really good.
You know, a lot of people consider that a horror game.
Yeah, because of the Thessalphilioma or whatever.
Yeah, the giant sea monsters. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of it's scary there, but especially if you have like a water phobia. Also, my cat that is growing massively. Sorry, he fell asleep in my lap and has recently just stretched completely out, and I'm like having to keep him from falling. So
that's what we call.
Don't mind me.
That's what we call pussy squared. It's way more pussy. Okay, and I am on Twitch at Rod_Johnston and Blue Sky and all that stuff. So you can find me there. Find my book, The Death and Rebirth of the Human Heart. You can find that on Amazon. So yeah, okay, that's everything. And we will see you guys next week for Santa's Little Helper. So Satan's Little Helper?
Satan's Little Helper. Not Santa, Satan.
I'm doing the thing from the Dear Santa movie that was terrible.
Yeah,
okay.
Satan. Yeah.
We'll catch you guys next week for Satan's Little Helper. And until next time, you have a good one. And thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Wiener. Okay, guys. I am half awake, so I'm gonna go eat something.